What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I was doing some research and came across a video of the nightlife in Medellin, Colombia. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you guys don't know where Colombia is, it is in South America, located right by the equator. So whenever a country is in the equator or around the equator, it's going to be muggy, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and there's going to be a rainy season where it just rains a lot. Okay, you see a lot of what looks to be Western men doing research, doing field research. I'm gonna pause the video, the frame here, and we want to observe the row of Western men on the right side doing field research. As you can see, the senior researcher here is conducting field questions on a local. Now, field questions can vary depending on what the purpose of the research is, but I reckon it's probably something really wholesome between these two. I'd imagine that he's probably asking her, how old are you? What is your desired income? What's your marital status? Where are you from? Basic demographic research questions. Now notice the gentleman on the left over here, they're a little bit younger. So they're more like junior researchers. Junior researchers, they do not have the funding that senior researchers do usually. So they had to be a little bit more careful with their budget. Okay, moving right along. We see a bunch of Westerners here, Americans here on the right side. And how do I know they're Americans? They're fat, so they're Americans. Okay, you see a lot of locals here as well. You see cops. That's a good sign. Let's pause the frame here once again. I'm observing three Westerners, field researchers. They're really focused on their research right now. Matter of fact, that's the look that you get when your subject matter is really fascinating. And they're locked in on their research, guys. They're locked in like white on rice. Now, Colombia was colonized by the Spaniards, the conquistadors, back in the early 1600s, so about 600 years ago. The conquistadors, their names were Rodrigo de Batista and Gonzalo Jimenez de Quesada. How do I know this? I looked it up. So now we are in Parque Leras. As you can see, we have a lot of locals here, just hanging out. Let's pause the frame here. So we have some local researchers here asking basic demographic questions. So I'm sure they're asking, hey, how old are you? Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Again, basic demographic questions. Want to go down that way? Again, I'm sure it's just wholesome interactions, nothing going on there. Laris Park has bars, nightclubs, hotels, restaurants, cafes, sports bars, and co-working locations. And we have a local subject here, just out on a weekend night, having fun. Nothing wrong with that. These ladies we saw earlier already, again, they are just talking to strangers, wholesome stuff. It's very beautiful over there, right? Lots of vibrant, colorful clubs. I work in the nightclub industry. I'm a bartender, and I've been doing this for a long, long time. So the nightlife is my scene. Sometimes I like to check the night scene at other countries, and I do it by watching these videos. There's a Mexican bar. I love me Mexican bars. I love me my Mexican drinks, my Mexican beer, my Mexican mommies. A lot of times the bars across the world are open much later than the ones in the US. As you can see, these guys are out and about at 4 in the morning, and everyone is still out and about and partying. If you look at the sign up there, it says 4 a.m., and they're still open. Okay, so this guy is a wrangler. What a wrangler is, they usually walk outside the club that they're working for, and they try to wrangle people in so so that they could get more business. And he's trying to wrangle the camera guy. Sometimes it's men, sometimes it's girls that are wranglers. In my experience, females are better wranglers than men. They can usually lure the guys in way better to go in the club or bar. So this is pretty typical during nighttime. A lot of people out on the streets, half drunk. A lot of them just having a good time. Let's pause the frame here and assess the situation. When you're traveling in a country like Colombia, you definitely want to do it with fellow researchers. You don't want to do it solo, just because for safety purposes. And if you guys travel there, you have to do it and spend your time where you're in a crowded area. If there are gang activities, there are gang-related crime like drugs, theft, robberies, deletion, lots of things that can go wrong. So travel in packs. And Medellin is not known for its safety. Now, Western men travel here a lot because the Colombian peso compared to Western denomination is very weak. In other words, your dollars, your pounds, they go a long way in Colombia. Okay, we're gonna pause the frame here and just check out this bar. Whenever you're at a bar, you always want to check out the guy to girl ratio. And right now I'm seeing 5 women to 100 guys. So it's a sausage fest. It's not a bar that I would want to go in. When it's a sausage fest like this, the guys typically tend to try to bother the female bartender because there's no other women around. If it's a male bartender, like me, a lot of them will ask, "What is your cheapest drink?" Whenever a guy asks me what the cheapest drink is, I usually just tell him, "You probably need to go home at this point." I cringe and die inside because I know this motherfucker is broke. If you have to ask the bartender what the cheapest drink is, you probably need to go back home and get your priorities straight. Alright guys, well that sums it up for that video. I hope you liked it. Come back and join me next time.